Hello and welcome to Cool Breeze Over the Mountains, a podcast where we chronologically step through and discuss each film starring Keanu Reeves. My name is Andrew Gormley and I am one of your hosts. I am joined on this episode by my co-hosts. She often introduces herself as Pathways, Electrical Signals, and Chemistry, but I prefer to call her Whitney Nelson.
Hello, everybody.
And hoist the mainsail, Ahab, Aja Romano returns! Aja, how are you? It's great to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm so excited to be back just for this specific episode.
I wanted to ask about that. Why?
Oh my gosh. I grew up on MST3K, and I'm sure you probably, like many of you probably did. I'm sure probably a lot of your listeners did too. And so
yeah.
I've listened to a lot of riff tracks in my day too. And so there's just like a certain, like, well, honestly, like when I was watching it, like the first line that Keanu Reeves says is something like, "Have the donors given their consent forms?" And like my entire body just like all over tingled. I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it just layers. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Love it. Well, we are excited to have you back. You know, we're winding down as you know. This is, geez, we only have 6 or 7 left. So luckily, Face the Music got moved up for us. So very cool. That'll be a better episode to end on than Between Two Ferns, which would have been our last point there. So, all right, let's get right into it. I'm excited. I see chats popping off. Hello, everyone. Zoe, Jody. There was the space, as always. No truncation here. You're 2 different people. Up top, as always, I want to mention you can find our website at coolbreezepod.com. Email us coolbreezepod@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at coolbreezepod. Longtime listener and current viewer Zoe emailed us this follow-up from our last episode. Whitney, just perk up a bit here. Absolutely gutted not to be able to join in with the watch party and then again live stream for Destination Wedding. You're back as my listening partner while I do the long walk home from work, so I had to tell you that you had me in fits of laughing at the Bert and Ernie reference. The image of Ernie saying to Bert, "Oh, for the thrill of fucking you, you've ruined my childhood." I personally saw Destination Wedding as an updated Beatrice and Benedict, which I think you also mentioned, Whitney, so that's cool. Mm-hmm. The verbal sparring in this movie is great, just the right amount of snark and the most awkward sex scene featuring a mountain lion, which might be the only time I'll ever say that sentence in my life. I'll keep listening, even if time differences mean I can't join in so much, but we're happy to have you now. Jody keeps me posted with all sorts of fun, so thank you for bringing Jody into my life. Aw, that's great. We're just
making
connecting.
Connections.
That's it. We're doing it. So if you're watching live on Periscope or Twitch, as many of you are currently, chime in with your 2 cents, have us read your comments out loud. We'll agree, debate, you do all that good stuff. I had a number of people reach out and ask if I could put this podcast on YouTube to get around a certain firewall and content restrictions. And to that, I'd say, I will be happy to help you slack off while you're at work, but give me time. It's a very lengthy process to do that kind of conversion. So it will be done, but maybe by the end of the show, they'll all be on YouTube. So there you go. And then finally, as always, if you want to be excellent to us, please share the show with your friends, rate and review us on iTunes, all that good stuff. Love to see it. You love to see it. Aja, if you could, I would love for you to tell us what we're talking about today.
Oh boy, I'm honored. We're talking about the Keanu Reeves film Replicas.
Oh, and no.
It's about clones. It's barely about anything. I don't think it's about anything else. It's barely about clones, but but it is at least nominally about clones. So, okay, here we go. The plot synopsis from Rotten Tomatoes is, after a car accident kills his family, a daring synthetic biologist will stop at nothing to bring them back, even if it means pitting himself against a government-controlled laboratory, a police task force, and the physical laws of science.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a way to put it.
The physical laws of science. Okay.
And every ethical and moral law in the universe, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
We will get to that, because I have a lot to say about that.
You love it. You love it.
So this was co-written by Chad St. John, who I'm not sure, like, is this someone I should know?
No. No.
I feel like I IMDb these people, and there were one of them wrote London Has Fallen, which is a movie I've at least vaguely heard of, but that's about it.
Yeah,
so it was
you're right.
co-written by that guy and recurring Keanu movie producer Stephen Hamill.
Yeah.
It was directed by Jeffrey Nachmanoff, whose other directing work is primarily in television, with episodes of Homeland, Chicago Fire, Hostages, The Brave, and The Passage. Co-starring alongside Keanu is Alice Eve, Thomas Middleditch, John Ortiz, MJ Anthony, and Emily Allen Lind, none of whom I've heard of.
Right.
The part that this leaves out is that this has, like, so many producers. This movie has so many producers that I honestly started to wonder if it was like a money laundering scheme.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You know, we had a similar situation with Siberia, too, which was also just an episode or two ago where it was like, wow, there are 7 production companies up top right out of the gate. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, there were a lot of producers behind this, so I don't know what their motives were, but I applaud them for taking risks.
Perfect. Whitney, what, I'm excited. What do the critics and the people have to say about Replicas?
Well, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes have an average score of 11% for this movie.
Ouch.
And the audience has given it about 33% score. So generally not well received, I would say. We have a critic quote from Kate Walsh of the LA Times, who says, "The filmmakers managed to avoid every potentially interesting choice for far dumber and far more inexplicable conclusions." Which is dead on the money.
Sure.
We have a user quote from Luca B. on Rotten Tomatoes, who gave it 1 out of 5 stars and says, "A generic and boring sci-fi thriller with laughable visual effects, silly dialogue, derivative script, flat characters, and clumsy editing that's not even enjoyable in the so bad it's good way."
Ow! Luca! But where's the lie, you know?
We have a few notes from listeners. Zoe said, "Not my favorite. Rude that he chooses not to revive Zoe." We have already talked about it being Zoe erasure. And then Christina says, "It's ... there? Question mark? When it's not confusing, it's really boring, honestly."
Maybe you two could help me out. I don't know. Why was it so hard for me to get some critical from some audience responses to this movie? I can't understand it. That's all. This is all I was able to get. This is literally it. I was like, you could say anything, and people didn't even care enough to really say a bad thing about it. That's how. I think that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, that is kind of what we're dealing with here. I do have to say, overall, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
That's okay.
So I do have to just start with that.
Yeah, I think I also enjoyed it more than I thought I would too.
I had some fun watching it. Not all of the time. I did not enjoy watching it 100% of the movie. And I really think that the thing that makes this movie so bad is exactly what that reviewer said, in that every decision that they make is like a questionable one when there's so many better options and ways for the story to go.
Sure.
And we can get into that a little bit more once we really start talking about it. But I knew it was going to be bad, and I went in knowing that it was going to be bad, and there were parts that were laugh out loud funny to me. Now, they weren't supposed to be.
Right. That is the problem. They were not supposed to be.
But I also understand indifference, because a lot of it just reads as like a CSI episode starring Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Aja, what is your take on this film? You sound like you kind of enjoyed it like Whitney did?
Well, the thing is, I grew up watching a lot of MST3K. I have a very, there's a part of me that just, sings in response to a bad movie, right? And the way that you watch bad movies is to, you're kind of rooting for them to make the worst possible choices. So, when I actually flatly disagreed with the reviewer that was like, it's not even enjoyable in the so bad it's good way. Like, because from the beginning I was just like, yes, we have flat script writing, we have terrible acting, we have like the entire budget going to this Iron Man screen that they're doing, and all of these choices that are making me deliriously happy as someone who's a connoisseur of bad movies, right? Because you can just see all of the ways where they had these, where they probably at some point had good intentions, and then just managed to produce things that were this thing that was totally flat. I was actually pretty impressed with how the movie would sort of shift through self-awareness at one point, when it started covering all of the plot holes that he would get into by trying to basically, the plot is that he tries to bring his family back after a completely nonsensical car accident, and then when he does, he tries to wipe their memories, but also he has to immediately they kind of have to gestate for 17 days, during which he's trying to keep the entire neighborhood from wondering where his family's gone, and so it kind of it could have easily ignored that, but it didn't. So it's walking through all the ways in which he's having to pretend to be his daughter, texting his daughter's girlfriend, stuff like that, trying to text the teachers of his kids' schools, right? So it does stuff like that where that makes you think it's trying to have thought to any degree about its plot, but then it also doesn't tell you how he's supposed to keep the identity of the daughter that he deletes from appearing, from the moment his wife walks down the street and their neighbor goes, "Hi, how's Zoe?" Right.
Right. Whoops.
There are these giant, massive plot holes that it doesn't remotely come close to even being interested in solving, but it's trying to take you through it's what it thinks is its own cleverness in doing these small things that are supposed to be subversive of the tropes. And so that kind of complete baffling contradiction just is the kind of thing that I live for as somebody who watches a lot of these movies. So I was into it most of the time just because of those types of things, right?
I got very into the movie when killer robot Keanu was a thing.
Well, when his boss kept being so over the top creepy, and I kept being what kind of blackmail information do we what kind of blackmail material does he have on his Igor character?
Yeah.
The dude, his underling, basically, who just flatly goes along with everything that he wants him to do. But his boss is so hilariously not the obviously not a biological lab boss,
right, 100%. Clearly not in the sciences in any way. Right. And definitely not the boss of a lab full of scientists.
Right. And I was kind of so, what's the word? I'm trying to figure out how to describe this, because I was is this movie doing this on purpose, or is it just one of these one of these other contradictions? And then halfway through the movie, the boss randomly shows up and just dumps a lot of completely incoherent backstory or exposition or whatever. I don't even know what to call it. On Keanu, where he implies that he may have had the whole family killed, kind of, but not really, or something, or was going to, and I don't know. But he was maybe in control of that, and now he's in control of everything that's happened since, and he's not a scientist, but he doesn't work for anything you've heard of, and nothing is answered at all. And this is supposed to be the movie kind of frames it oh, you were expecting this all the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how could you not have seen
this part? Right. So the whole movie is just full of these moments where you're trying to figure out does the movie know what it's doing, or is it just completely oblivious to what it's doing, or is it trying to make you think it knows what it's doing, but it's also oblivious to this other giant thing over here? So, yeah.
It's both? Can it be both? I don't know. It's so weird.
I think movies are often both, and that's part of their charm.
Oh my gosh. I agree with both of you. So for me, this movie felt very long to me.
Oh, it is very long.
I mean, I don't know. I can't even actually remember the runtime off the top of my head. It's close to 2 hours. It's closer to 2 hours than not. And I don't know how many times I actually paused. Like, by the time I guess it's when his family dies or something, or pretty close to that point, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to boot these clones up, and then we're going to see some stuff. And I was like, we're only 40 minutes in. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm going to go make some dinner. I'll come back to this in a second here. Every time they brought up like a question, right? I was like, oh, that's what this movie is. And then they bring up another question and they didn't answer the first one. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like,
yeah, no, totally. That's the thing that I really think is the downfall of this movie is, like that one reviewer said, there's so many ways that this movie could go and it chooses not to go any of them.
Right.
And every time that you think that you're like, okay, I see where this is going, I get what's happening here, they're like, no, actually you don't. It's this completely non sequitur thing that is going to come in out of nowhere and then bore you rather than intrigue you.
Yes.
I think I felt like I didn't even expect the movie to be interested in those questions, because these kinds of movies are never interested in like the broader questions that they're
That
raised.
could be
like,
it too.
I was just like, oh, they made this movie for this Iron Man screen thing. Okay, that's why we're here. So every time they whipped it out, I was like, oh, okay, the movie's budget is doing its thing. This is why we're, like, I don't know. It just seemed me. There was a moment where when Keanu's character, whose name I've completely forgotten.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Dr. something or other.
Yeah. Oh, William.
William, there you go.
Because his boss keeps calling him Bill, and I kept being like, I bet that's not his fucking name.
No one else in the movie called him Bill.
Right. It was just another mark of how evil his boss was that I remember that. That's bad.
Only I call you this nickname.
Bill.
Bill.
So William he kind of realizes out of nowhere that that the body has to be like connected, the mind has to realize that it's in its own body for it to wake up. And I was like, wow, that's hella transphobic of you, movie. But like that's the only time.
Right. That's
the only time where I even like felt remotely like this movie had thought at any point at all about the logistics or the. I mean, you also had like them carrying around like amino acids and just basically like stuff you need to grow humans in like gallon like drums. like
yeah. And also the amount of times that they shouted the algorithm in this movie.
Right. That's all you needed. Just the algorithm.
But the algorithm though.
It's one of those things. It's like it's the Maltese Falcon. Is that right? It's like one of the, not a red herring, but like a MacGuffin.
Yes,
MacGuffin.
That feels. Yeah.
It's like the thing that makes the movie work, whether it makes sense or not.
When I got into this, I was like, okay, so this was a movie that up until our watch right now, Whitney, you hadn't seen this either, right?
I had not, no.
Okay, yeah, so I had not seen this either. And I knew it slotted right between, like, two very big Keanu, between two John Wicks, I guess is what you could say. There are other movies, but, like, between two John Wicks, essentially. And I don't know why I put this, like, onus on it, where I was like, well, clearly the guy knows what he's doing, like, when he picks roles and he's into it.
Though, he has never known what he's doing.
That's true. It is true. I don't know why I keep just assuming.
He says yes to everything and then lucks into some of the most like genre-changing films of our lifetimes.
Yeah, that's true.
But mostly it's like, yes, I would love to be in The Watcher and Siberia and Replicas.
Whoops. I was hoping, past knowledge, I was hoping that this could be like, and maybe this is all on me, just projecting. I was like, this could have been like Ex Machina. You know what I'm saying? Like this could have been, or if they wanted to go the other direction, when he was doing all of the neural pathway chemical stuff, I was like, oh, well, this is a lot like Eternal Sunshine. Like, of course, this is what the movie's going to be. And it was none of that. I was like, no. Oh, they got so close to doing something interesting, and then it didn't matter anymore. And I was like, damn it. And that's kind of that was the biggest bummer for me. I was like, oh, they're right there. And like, what could go wrong with cloning? They had that scene with the kid, his son. He like inexplicably, again, I think that's going to be the word of this episode, inexplicably, he puts mashed potatoes in a glass of milk and he's like, I missed the plate. I'm like, oh, something's wrong with the clones.
That was almost the progenitor of a really good movie. That's
right.
When Alice Eve knows something is up, but can't quite put her finger on it, but knows what's going on. Like, she's been clued in, but like hasn't figured out the daughter that's missing or whatever. And then the kids are acting a little weird and the son puts mashed potatoes in his milk instead of on his plate.
Yeah.
When they start sort of like glitching like that, that is almost a really intense and very cool like thriller thing where they like
that's a psychological horror from the perspective of the mom, basically. Like,
yeah, exactly. She has now been made into this thing that, you know, and her memory has been edited, and her husband did it all without asking any questions of why or should I or could I. And then
like her last memory on Earth was being impaled by some sort of log,
and he didn't remove that?
And he didn't remove that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Removed the daughter that she had, but did not remove being impaled through the torso.
Right.
Yeah. There's something, yeah, of course.
But if she starts like, if the glitching turned into malice and all of a sudden his family that he worked so hard to save is after him, or if it's a psychological horror from the perspective of the mom and like what was done to her, and she has her kids but something's not right there, and you know her husband did this without permission. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's super interesting there, but that's when they give the big left turn of, I'm from some secret government agency that's so secret you don't know it exists, and I'm going to kill all of your family because they're my property.
Yeah.
Right. And also, like, the fact that when she finds, like, he basically is immediately, for whatever reason, he's like, oh, I think I'm just going to tell you right now, casually, that I removed our daughter from your memory banks. And she's basically like, she's mad about it. She's kind of half-heartedly mad about it for like 2 seconds, and then it's fine. like there's no long-term.
There's a bigger problem now. It's like,
right.
You did what?
Also, this whole movie, he has this robot that like he's been trying to put people's consciousness into, and he keeps failing.
Well, I also just want to point out that like, his daughter is supposed to be like she's clearly like 7 or 8, like she's tall, she's like a child, but she says things like, what's fired mean? And I'm like, how old are you actually supposed to be? No. like so
she was clearly supposed to be like 3 years old, but they put like an 8-year-old actress in that role.
Right. And so the whole time I was thinking, I'm not sure he's the best cognitive scientist he thinks he is. This is how his daughter
he needs to work on his home life first to get that in order.
Whole time, he's got 3 pods and 4 family members, but he also has a robot. And how interesting would it be if you put a young child that doesn't know what fired means, you put her consciousness into this robot that's meant for, like, military wounded and dying.
Yeah.
That's an interesting movie, too.
See, I think you're thinking about this as a movie instead of like a construct. Instead of
well, how strange of me to consider this a movie.
But it's not a movie. It's like a
to have movie expectations of this is just wild.
Well, to me, I feel like, and like all of those producers is like maybe the key here, because I feel like in every single scene, all of those producers were going, hey, I contributed $500 to this. Let's make your daughter like say like not know what fired is, or let's have the kid drop his mashed potatoes. Like that's gonna be cool. Like they're just throwing all this cool stuff at it. Like they're throwing stuff at the wall, and they all want it to stick because they're, you know, like that's kind of the sense that I get from this movie. Like it's not actually so much as it's not well thought out as much as it's just like an assemblage of cool concepts that they hoped would be really cool on the page and then on the screen. Maybe not in that exact order. And, you know, and then this is what we got. Like, we got like a scrambled egg movie where you have like all of these pieces of ideas that people have contributed to that don't really like have any coherence or continuity or anything to do with each other. You know, like I feel like it's that kind of movie. Like it was a movie that was like, I don't know. It was like assembled by somebody who had like movie parts in a gallon drum of Filipino accents.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. I think the problem with this movie primarily lays with the director, because regardless of all of your scrambled egg pieces, you have incredible rules or questions about morality throughout this whole movie. All of the different pieces, regardless of what they are or how they fit together, the question is, this guy is doing horrific things, potentially.
Yeah.
And not stopping for a second to, other than the who's he gonna delete from his family moment, he never really stops to pause at all. Thomas Middleditch is kind of the voice of reason in this movie, which is never a good sign. But even he doesn't really, go into the morality and the lack of consent and the what he's doing to their bodies and their minds and all that kind of stuff. And you need to be able to say that this lead, with all of these questions of morality, that the lead of the movie is either a loving father doing anything he can, regardless of the consequences, or he's a bad guy. And they never draw the line, in the whole movie, they never draw the line between those two. Keanu Reeves is walking right down the middle of loving father and, Frankenstein-esque
you could have
consequences
had him
be damned.
You could have had him be like an amorally gray character, and had it work if you'd had the movie be aware of that and be telegraphing to us that we're supposed to be finding him morally gray, right? That would,
exactly.
like it's Machina. I think you can do that pretty well, but I think this movie was not concerned about that, because this movie just
well, that's the thing, is I think that's why, in my opinion, the fault falls on the director, is because you're still the one person who's making this story, even if 50 different producers have had their hand in it and, given you all of these different pieces. The writer has made a script that doesn't really connect because of all these pieces or whatever. In the end, it's your job to get a continuity of performance of some kind, even if you've given bad things, bad pieces to work with. And Keanu Reeves could have done it either way. I don't think he's the most believable parent in the world, but I do think that he could have gone either side if the director just made a choice of, this is the main guy is a good guy or the main guy is a bad guy. Yeah. Really, I think that's where this movie falls down the most, is they never make that choice, and therefore none of it, there is no cohesive anything at all, because they're not telling a story that makes sense. They're not telling a moral or it's not a parable that's teaching you something. It just exists. I was reading RogerEbert.com. Obviously, he didn't review this movie, but the writer that reviewed this movie said that Nick Cage should have been the star of this movie because he would have gone unhinged, and it would have made this movie make sense.
Hold on a second.
I'm 100% into that idea.
I think that so you both are blowing my mind here for a second, because let me make a quick observation. Whitney, just based off of what you said, so Nicolas Cage was supposed to be the star of Siberia, right? Mm-hmm. And Asia, you mentioned that this was like 6 or 7 different producers all had one idea, right? And I think that is the exact problem that Siberia also had, which it had 6 or 7 people. And I liked parts of that movie too. They were there's diamonds, there's intrigue, there's international espionage. And the same thing with this. I was this is like Eternal Sunshine. This is like Ex Machina. This is a little bit like Blade Runner, but they never actually connect everything. And I'm well, now it's very clear that these 2 roles should have gone to Nicolas Cage. And then the whole thing would have been solved, clearly.
Yeah. But Nicolas Cage, regardless of what the producers or the director or the scriptwriter is saying, he would have taken this in a Mandy-esque direction where you clearly know how you feel about the main protagonist and the decisions that he makes, which I think would connect everything else in more of a story, even if the script doesn't change and the editing doesn't change and all of that kind of stuff. Having someone who's willing to go to the edge with it would have made it made more sense. I do think Keanu Reeves does his best job to try and add some sort of human element to this movie. I think he tries his best to hold it down, but he fails. I really just wanted this to turn into either a psychological horror starring Alice Eve or a, like, revenge horror where the family kills Keanu Reeves. That's what I wanted out of this. Neither of those happened, but I did appreciate the end when Keanu Reeves puts his consciousness into the robot, and then he and the robot are like fighting all of these government agents. That was fun. I liked that part.
I don't know how much of the budget went into making that robot, but it should have. I don't know. I don't know what they could have done to make that
been more.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Those producers, clearly they needed like 6 or 7 more producers to get that thing up to snuff. Because I'm like, oh boy, this is not great. So
also there was something about the lighting that really looked like TV. The whole time it looked like
definitely.
TV.
It definitely looked like person of interest or like. It did. Like, it looked like one of those, like CBS, sci-fi procedurals, like Fringe or something.
Well, that's what I said about CSI, is it's definitely some sort of, like, procedural, except for it's a movie. The way that it looks and the, you know, the techno-babble and how that doesn't play at all reminded me very much of, like, an NCIS or SVU or something. Like I said, the amount of times that they talked about the algorithm.
The algorithm, correct, yeah.
And they didn't say anything else about the algorithm. And it's just what attaches a consciousness to a body.
Right. And the algorithm only exists in his head because that's a thing that people carry around with them.
No algorithm exists in a person's head.
You bring up more interesting points, and I didn't realize it until now, but like when it becomes clear to me, like in a movie, that this is not going to meet my pretty like low threshold for enjoyment overall. Like I'm not hard to please, really. I don't think, at least. I do like start to look for like, well, maybe technically this movie is going to do something that like blows me away, and it did not. Like
no.
I like the one cool shot. There was one cool shot where like the camera was going through the neural pathways and like it's like kind of they're framed around Keanu. I can't even remember what the context is. I don't know if he was in the lab or he was at home. I was like, oh, this is a cool shot. Maybe we'll get a couple more of those. Nope. Like, I don't know. I think we've been spoiled by sci-fi movies that have just had like this beautiful lighting and cinematography on these shoestring budgets. So when you see something like this, which is like, I don't know what the budget for this is, but I feel like it's probably pretty safe to say it was like a lot more than Ex Machina, right? Yeah. Like whatever, like Ex Machina, I've seemed to remember is like, I don't know, $12 million. And at that movie looked, the android alone, I was like, incredible. And this movie, I'm like, this robot, why? Why is this robot?
No, it looks like a robot in like a child's like picture book.
It looked like the robot from the film Robots, if you've ever seen the DreamWorks. Oh my gosh.
And as Aja said, there's so many plot holes in this. There's so many big plot holes, and occasionally they try to address them, but they don't really ever address them. But the bodies having trackers in them.
Oh, yeah.
Was such a big issue to me because we watched them be grown in like primordial soup.
Yeah.
We watch them clone and grow bodies. Where do trackers become part of this process?
And also, he was like in control of this process, so he had to like manually decide to agree to have the trackers be grown. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like at some point, they were like these little metal objects that were able to be fried with the resuscitation device. They had to be implanted in the body. They did not biologically grow in the bodies. And so at some point he had to say like, yes, inject this into my family.
Sure, but that means that you're still thinking about this as like a movie with.
I know. You're right.
Continuity, like it's not a movie with continuity. It's a movie with ideas being thrown together and people going, "Ooh, they have trackers embedded in them," because nobody's like they don't have some sort of. Maybe they did have a continuity editor, but they didn't have like a script continuity editor going. You can't do that because that's technically him basically. What's the I don't know what the clone equivalent is of like spying on your whole family, but like that doesn't make any sense. So we don't have that. So we don't have like there's so many points in this movie that just do not connect. Like I have no idea where like. Can we talk about the ending? If we're going to quote-unquote spoil the ending, like, I honestly have no idea where the fuck his daughter came from. I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't know whether they ended, like, whether they all, like, died and wound up on some sort of holograph island, like, as clones forever. Like, Or
I didn't even want to broach that because I literally feel my blood pressure rising with every second that I was witnessing it, and now we're talking about it. But the end of this movie is his whole family reunited on this beautiful, pristine beach, and it's like, how did you get the technology? And where did your daughter's consciousness go? Because they were all stored on these, like, big, chunky 80s, like, Betamax tapes or something.
Well, not even like his daughter's consciousness. Like, his assistant says at one point that he couldn't get rid of her body, like, and he never tells us what he did with it. So it was like, did they actually go find her, like, rotting corpse and somehow, like,
what the hell?
Reconstruct her?
Yep.
Because of what he said about, like, how the body the mind has to connect with its old body in order to function or whatever. So is that not true?
Oh.
Like, so
I don't like it.
While on the lam from this government agency that could kill him, he found a pod and grew a new daughter, or he reanimated her corpse.
The robot.
Or this is like a dream sequence and they're all dead.
Right. And all of this, no matter what it is, was apparently done with the help of the guy who he just killed and then for some reason brought back to life, because I guess he assumed that when he brought him back to life, he would no longer be evil. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
When I bring you back, I'm going to erase your memories of being a bad guy, and that's how we're going to get around that. They could wave their hand and do anything in this movie.
But they don't show you, like, what they actually did. And I think that's, again, because they were just like, we made a cool movie. It's got cool stuff. It'll be fine. The audience didn't care.
With the moral ambiguity of the character, the whole, I will leave my robot me to help your evil organization continue to make money off of cloning and, life, longevity, whatever. Mm-hmm. He would never leave himself to do that. He didn't, it's just...
Well, also, like, his other self, like, his clone robot was apparently completely okay with, like, basically being enslaved for the rest of its life. Like, this had, like, a completely, like, pre-Asimovian conceptualization of robot, like, humanity, of, like, robot manity. Like, honestly, like, it didn't have... It gave no second thoughts whatever to the fact that it basically, like, split his consciousness in two. And the whole time I was like, but what happens, like, his other half is doing this for his family. What happens when his other half, who's still in love with his family, wants to come back and, like, be with the family? Like, what happens? Like, and that was never addressed either. Nothing of...
No, like, I mean, they kind of address that with the robot saying, like, take care of them. The robot saying, like, I'm going to be a robot slave and have this evil guy make money forever because it's worth it for me to pay that price for you to take them away from here. Mm-hmm. They kind of address that, but they also never directly address it. And they're like, how long does this guy have to work for the evil guy?
And then at the very end, they reveal that the robot is working for the evil guy. Like, they didn't already just painstakingly set up that the robot was working for the evil guy. So it's completely...
Yeah, they explain that more than anything else in this whole movie.
And then they reveal it like it's a surprise. Like it's the spoilery twist that the movie ends on. Like, it's the last shot of the movie, and you're supposed to be surprised, but you're just like, okay.
That producer, his favorite clone movie was clearly Multiplicity. So that's what that was all about. Like, look, got to send these guys away somewhere.
I do have to say, I did get very hyped when the robot Keanu and the real Keanu were, like, fighting for his family, though. That was the best part of the movie for me. I was like, yeah, he uploaded his consciousness and now the robot's killing everybody.
But also, why did that one robot have super strength and none of the others did? I don't understand.
He was special. He was the government. Wasn't that the one that was going to be the government soldier thing? So they need him to be super strong.
That was the same robot that they were going to upload, like, the military.
Right. So maybe they even though you're supposed to connect with your own body, and even though you're supposed to be they're supposed to make these clones, they I guess just injected him with extra, I don't know, extra human strength for fun.
Asia, you're thinking about this like it's a movie.
Again, My impression was that they were taking the best of the military and reincarnating them into super military robots. They were turning them into weapons for the government.
That's a fine guess, because
that happens a lot.
Right, that's a thing. One of the producers really loves that. Universal Soldier. That was his favorite movie.
Well, you can't take... They never address AI in this at all, but you need a brain and a consciousness to do this. So they have to take people, but no one's willing to just die in order to be uploaded into a robot. So taking dead soldiers and then making them soldiers forever in a strong body was what I thought was happening there. But again, they don't explain any of that.
Oh gosh.
Which is great. Good job. A win for me.
I keep thinking about this movie with Nick Cage, and I want a remake now. I think I do.
It would be so much better if Nick Cage was in it. And that, I think
the only thing about that is that you still couldn't, Nick Cage would not fix the moment where the bad guy shows up and is suddenly hi, here's this giant plot twist that makes no sense and comes in the middle of the movie without any...
Sure.
Right, but that also...
I agree. It wouldn't fix anything, but it might make it be...
It might make you embrace the deranged atmosphere that you're in.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
He's willing to take it to the edge and go to extremes, and it would make you feel something. Which this movie did not make me feel anything until Robot Keanu was killing people.
You're all right. Oh my goodness.
It would not fix any of the problems of this movie. It would just make this movie more watchable, in my opinion.
I'm looking through our list here. I think we crushed it. We talked about the story, the character development, the pacing, the plot. We talked about Keanu, who was... Asia, do you have anything to add about Keanu's performance specifically?
Oh, there was one genuine moment, which I've completely forgotten, where I was reminded how much comedic timing he has. It was some sort of line where he just had one of those cheesy CSI Miami or whatever, one of those cheesy lines that that's not really funny, but
one of those that normally ends in a wow,
like a David Caruso type thing.
Yeah.
Was it did it happen to be? I'm going to ask because it might have been the line. Here's an example of a line that I wrote down. This is after the police knock on his door and they question him and they say that every car battery in the neighborhood has been stolen, and we saw that happen.
Right.
Oh, it made me so mad when he was like, "No, mine's totally fine."
Yeah, what an idiot, of course. But he closes the door, and as he's walking away, he says something along the lines of "Yeah, okay, that happened."
Right.
Was that the? I don't.
That's not the one that I was thinking of. But as soon as you started talking about the cops, I remembered it. So I mean, the fact that I have remembered two-ish lines from this movie is more than I thought I would.
I only remembered it because I was like, you can't have bodies of your family hiding in your basement and you've stolen all of this equipment and you actually technically murdered them, but you're trying to revive them and pretend that they're still alive, and have the cops say every single car battery in this entire neighborhood has been stolen was yours. And he's like, nope. Gee, officers, it sure hasn't.
Ooh, that's weird.
It made me so mad.
That was... I've watched a lot of bad movies. I was just like, okay, sure. This is part of the bad movie landscape for me. I'm fine with it. I mean, that's
par
what
for
has
the
to
course.
happen in order for him to get what he needs. It's fine. I mean, he needs the cops to be imbeciles who don't ask questions. So they are. That's the demand of the movie. So it's fine. It's fine. Why would you expect them to do more?
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You're like, well,
Fair
fair
point.
enough. Oh my goodness. I mean, do we have any other things to say about this film?
I do
I
not.
will say that like his crying over his family was particularly bad acting. Like it's probably the worst piano acting I've seen. I think.
Oh my God, you're right.
It was so bad, and I felt I was kind of like, what director pulled this out of him? Because I didn't like. It's really. I think it's really hard for him to act that badly. You know, like.
Yeah, and I mean, like. How ludicrous it was to like basically draw straws. I don't know. He's like, and he goes to his assistant. He's like, here, you do it. It's like, this guy hasn't made a decision the whole movie. Like he's done nothing. I should have let it go. Like Asia said, like 5 minutes in, I should have just been like, this isn't a film. It's fine.
I also wanted to note really quickly that like he's supposed to be the head of the entire operation, but he doesn't know how many like human creating capsules he has left. Like that seems like a thing you should know.
Well, that was another thing where they do not explain that technically, like, Tom Middleditch and Keanu Reeves are two separate labs because they're working in the same lab together on all of this. So they seem like partners. But, like, Thomas Middleditch is cloning and he is, like, consciousness into a robot. And then they come together for this debacle. But they never really make that clear until Thomas Middleditch is like, hey, this is what I do. I know about all of this stuff. They never really make that clear that, like, it's two separate departments, technically.
Yeah. While I don't believe that character would just go along for that ride as easily as he did with really no prompting necessary. Like, here's my whole family. They're dead. It was a car accident. We got to cover this up because I want to clone them because here we go. He's like, okay. And he basically just submits. Thomas Middleditch, you know, I think that guy's very funny. He's got great comedic timing. It worked in some parts of this movie. And that's the thing I could say about it. That was good. That I enjoyed a little bit. I was like, hey, all right, Middleditch, good.
I love that there was this one background character, like one of his lab assistants, the guy who was just kind of constantly in the background, like obviously side-eyeing all of William's choices. And I was like, he had like 2 lines, but the whole time I'm like, I see you, and I support you.
And so there are no small roles, only small actors, right? That's another thing. Yeah, it's little things. Yeah, I think we've exhausted everything there is to say about this film. So it might be time to move on to our next segment.
I believe it is. It's the trivia portion of the evening.
Oh my gosh! I hope Asia. I hope you were paying attention because the questions have gotten more difficult over the weeks and months of quarantine. I don't know if it's quarantine for Charles as well, but let's kick it off with the theme song. Here we go.
Pop quiz, asshole. There was a time when I had the need to learn from you. Oh, what the hell do you know? Lose! I don't lose! I win! You got a lot to learn about sportsmanship.
Oh my goodness. Pop Quiz Asshole is a very own quiz show where the host asks each of us 3 questions. If one of us gets it wrong, the other has a chance to steal. If they get it wrong, the other person has a chance to steal, assuming they remember the remaining answer. That's clutch. That's super clutch. You got to remember the answers. I should probably write them down maybe. That's something I should do 6 episodes from the end. Points are not cumulative and only determine who wins the episode. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to our master of ceremonies, Charles Nolan.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hi.
How is everyone doing today?
Thank God it's
Great.
Friday, you know?
I'm ready to lose pathetically.
No, that's not the attitude. You got this.
Well, I appreciate the excitement, if not the slight pessimism. Presented optimistically.
There it is. There it is. It's all about presentation.
Are we all ready to begin?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's start off with Asia.
No.
What is the name of the research facility at which William and Ed work? Is it A, Biodyne Industries, B, Bio9 Industries, or C, Bioline Industries?
It's either Biodyne or Bio9. I think it's Biodyne? I think it's Biodyne.
That is incorrect.
Steel.
Andrew.
I'm going to go with Bio 9.
That is correct.
Yeah! All right. Charles, just real quickly,
Yes.
Jody says hello in the chat.
Hello, Jody.
Just always got to call that out. Okay.
I appreciate it. Moving on to Whitney.
Yes.
What is the name of Ed's boat?
Oh, no.
Is it A, the Lion Hussy, B, the Unfaithful Hussy, or C, the Cheatin' Hussy?
Really? I'm gonna say the lying hussy.
That is incorrect.
Steel?
Yeah.
Asia.
Is it the cheating hussy?
It is.
Wild.
Absolutely wild.
Did they actually say that somewhere in the film, or do they show you the name of the boat?
They do both. It's said at the beginning of the film when they are driving out to the boat, and then we see it at the end. It is
Incredible.
Wow.
pretty gross.
Indeed.
Speaking of pretty gross, moving on to Andrew.
That's rude.
Burn.
I, of course, am just kidding. Our boy Keanu's character is named Dr. William Foster, which John Wick franchise co-star would go on to play a Dr. William Foster in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Is it A, Common, B, Ian McShane, or C, Lawrence Fishburne?
In a Marvel Cinematic? Is it Lawrence Fishburne?
That is correct.
Yes, that was a what did he play though? Oh, yes.
He played Dr. William Foster. That was in the question.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. I remember now. Larry. Yes, I totally blanked on that movie. Okay, great.
That's funny.
Moving back up to Asia.
Okay.
Which actor from Con Air was originally slated to play William, but turned it down?
No.
Was it A, Nicolas Cage, B, John Cusack, or C, John Malkovich?
It was A, Nicolas Cage.
That is correct.
Oh my
Nailed
God,
it.
really?
Yes, indeed.
That was twice.
that's
That was
crazy.
2 movies basically in a row that probably should have gone to Nick Cage. I'm just saying.
That's crazy. Because I had no idea of that when I've been talking about Nick Cage this whole time.
That is, to use a void term, absolutely bonkers.
Oh man.
Moving on to Whitney.
Yes.
In the names in a bowl scene, how many times is the word pick said?
Oh my God.
Is it 9, 10, or 11?
I'm gonna guess 11.
That is incorrect.
Uh-oh. There you go.
It was a lot, so I just went with the most.
I will steal and say 9.
Asia, that is correct.
Oh my god! Asia's seen it so many times she could recite it from memory. I understand.
I actually bought it. I didn't even rent it. I bought it.
Wow.
You can just imagine the producers like, we got a sale! We did it!
I am that sale. This movie was made for me.
Right. Hey, there you go. No shame. No shame.
Absolutely no shame. Speaking of shame, moving on to Andrew.
I like these transitions. Okay.
When William is deleting the memories of Zoe, we see 2 lobes labeled in the brain diagram. One
boy.
is the occipital lobe. What is the other? Is it A, frontal, B, parietal, or C, temporal?
Yes. It is the I believe it's the parietal lobe.
That is correct.
Oh my god! Yes. Of course it was. I don't know why I got so excited. Of course it was the parietal lobe.
Moving on to the final round of regulation questions. The current score is Asia 3, Whitney 0, Andrew 3, Void 0.
The void. Okay.
The void.
It is unlikely that the Void will get any points, but it is still possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Back up to the top of the round with Asia.
I just want to say, I feel like The Void has already won because we're discussing this movie. So.
That is
possible.
correct.
Here we go. There it is.
Asia, how many new text messages does Mona's phone have when Will plugs it in? Is it A, 123, B, 117, or C, 447?
Wow.
I think it's 123 because it goes up later.
That is incorrect.
Steal.
Whitney.
117.
That is incorrect.
Ooh.
Steal.
Andrew.
I believe it was 447.
That is correct. It was 123 missed calls.
Oh. The old bait and switch, Charles.
Sneaky bastard.
Close.
I am very sneaky. See, look, now I'm behind you.
Oh, no. I don't like that at all.
No.
Let's move on to the next question.
Next question to Whitney. Matt has a set of nesting dolls on the shelf above his bed. How many are there?
Oh, my God.
Is it 5, 6, or 7?
5.
That is incorrect.
What? He has 6 or 7 nesting dolls?
Steal.
That's a design choice.
Andrew.
7.
That is incorrect.
Steal.
Asia.
6.
That is correct.
That's a lot of nesting dolls. That's a lot of dolls.
It is quite a lot. It's not as much as 7, but it is more than 5.
Oh my.
So many dolls.
Why? Why would he have that many?
For the last question of the regulation round.
Oh my gosh,
Pop Quiz
because
Asshole.
they're nesting consciousnesses inside of other consciousnesses.
Whoa, that just got very meta. This movie, like the nesting dolls, has layers.
Oh, it's not true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Andrew.
I'm crying.
When William is pitching uploading himself into 345, Ed greets a coworker walking past.
Okay.
What was the name of this coworker?
God damn it.
Was it A, Phil, B, Ted, or C, Jim?
I want it to be. Let's go with Phil on this one.
That is correct.
Oh my god! I love it. You'll love
I
to see
remembered
it.
that. I remembered that was his name. I just want you to know that I remembered that. I knew that.
I am proud of you, Asia.
Thank you. 123 missed calls. God damn it.
It's a lot.
That takes us to the bonus round of Pop Quiz Asshole.
Okay.
The bonus round features 3 questions that are posed to no one in particular. Everyone gets their opportunity to buzz in, and the first to buzz in gets the points if they get the right answer.
Okay.
Let's remind everyone of the buzzer sounds, starting with Andrew.
Bzzz.
Thank you. Moving on to Whitney.
Me.
Thank you. And Asia, what is your buzzer sound?
Oh, I know.
That
love
is
it.
fantastic.
Okay.
Bonus round question number 1. What is the time since cardiac death for the first donor we see at the beginning of the movie? Was it 7 hours and 15 minutes, 7 hours and 30 minutes, or 7 hours and 45 minutes?
Me.
Whitney.
7 hours and 15 minutes.
That is correct. Whitney is on
Nailed
the
it.
board.
Nailed it.
Moving on to question number 2. How many days does it take to grow the bodies? A, 14 days, B, 17 days, or C, 21 days?
Me.
I know.
Whitney.
17.
That is correct.
Woo. Whitney. I was like, it's 14, clearly.
It's 17. They make a whole thing about 17 days.
I know. The levels.
The one thing that they actually try to make you understand in this movie is how long it takes.
And now for potentially the final question of Pop Quiz Asshole,
Okay.
where there is capacity for a tie.
Oh boy.
Sophie, quote unquote, tells Juan that she's grounded until she's 18. This means she is grounded for how many years?
Oh, jeez.
5,
4, or 3?
I know.
Asia.
3.
That is incorrect.
Damn it.
Me.
Whitney.
4 years.
That is correct.
Whoa. There you go. I was
She was 14.
hoping for.
We saw on a piece of paper written down the ages of the different children. She was 14. Matt was 13. We did not see Zoe's age.
There
Right.
was no way that actress was 14 years old.
No,
not even-
absolutely not.
Not
Movies
even
are
close.
historically very good at casting ages appropriately.
Charles, I just want to say that Zoe in the chat says that you are crushing Pop Quiz today.
Well, thank you, Zoe. You are crushing life. Keep at it.
There you go. There you go.
Well, this was a very close Pop Quiz Asshole with a score of 3 to 4 to 5. With our grand winner being Andrew.
Ooh.
I did it! It's a hollow victory. The fanfare plays. I do a lap. It's great. Faded out. Thank you, Wild Stallions.
And thank you, Andrew. And also Asia. And
pleasure.
also Whitney.
We did it. We did
We
it.
did.
We did it. It is now time to pivot to Pop Quiz Audience.
Oh boy.
Pop Quiz Audience, each week I ask our audience 3 questions, and they can tweet to me at The Nolan with their answers. The questions and answers from last week were: question number 1. What's the number of the cab Lindsay gets into at the end of the movie? The correct answer was 814, correctly guessed by Jody.
Hey,
Excellent!
there you go.
Next up, what popular chip brand did they eat from the minibar? The correct answer was Pringles. Correctly guessed by Melissa Reed.
Hey, Melissa.
Excellent!
And the last question was, what is Lindsay's address? The correct answer being 14 Catalina Drive. Correctly guessed by Jody.
Excellent!
Good job, Jody and Melissa and Jody again.
Charles, I got to ask. You said that at the end of our stream last week, you were already getting answers. Did you have all of the answers by the time we were done the episode?
All except for the first one, which was incorrectly guessed and then corrected within minutes.
Perfect. Perfect.
So if you are listening live, you'd better be quick. If you're not listening live, still, better be quick. Here are the 3 questions for this week's Pop Quiz Audience. What time is it when Ed tells William they need a generator? Question number 2. What are the names of the officers who come to ask William about the car battery theft? And question number 3. What Ivy League school's t-shirt does William wear at different points throughout the movie? Tweet to me at The Nolan, TheNowlin, or tweet with the hashtag PopQuizAudience and get called out on the next episode for your right answers.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Charles, it's been quite an adventure, this game. Thank you for all the hard work you put into making this happen.
Thank you so much for letting me put in what is not really that much hard work. As much as it is watching movies for details instead of plot, which worked out very well for this movie.
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, as always, we'll see you on the next one, and happy void to you. Have a good void.
And a happy void to you very soon.
No!
No.
It's been a particularly ominous episode for me, I think. I don't know. It's got some shade. I don't know. Nothing, Charles? Okay, he left.
He's gone.
Charles is gone. Okay.
He just said a happy void to you very soon and disappeared. Not unnerving
Right.
at all.
I don't have to be looking over my shoulder at all. At all. I am going to run us through pretty quickly the major plot points of this movie, which we have discussed does not make very much sense at all. So this is just based off of what Wikipedia has. So both of you, please feel free to chime in if anything, if you have any clarifying words here. Otherwise, I'll get through this as quickly as possible.
Pretty sure that anything we need to clarify we've already talked about. But
Good. So here we go. William Foster and Ed Whittle are biomedical research scientists working for Bio9 in Puerto Rico, attempting to transfer the mind of a dead soldier into an android with superhuman strength, codenamed 345. Foster specializes in synthetic biology and mapping neural pathways, and Whittle's specialty is human cloning. So, in case you weren't aware, Foster, that's Keanu. Whittle is Thomas Middleditch. There you go. Foster successfully captures Soldier's neural map, transfers it into an android brain, but the experiment fails. The android rips its own face off, kills itself. The special effects work was not particularly anything to write home about, but hey, there you go. Foster's boss, Jones, warns him that if he cannot get this to work, the company's shareholders will shut the project down. As Aja and Whitney have both said, it's very clear that this man is not a scientist, nor does it seem like he has any experience running a lab of any kind. Foster takes his wife Mona and children Sophie, Matt, and Zoe on a boating trip, but on the way, all but William are killed in a car crash, it was just a series of unfortunate events, right? It's craziness. Determined to resurrect his family, he coaxes Ed into bringing Bio9 equipment to extract his family's neural maps, clone replacement bodies for them, the whole nine. After, he extracts their neural maps, he says, Ed, you got to get rid of these bodies. And then they run into their first major problem of the movie, which is they only have 3 cloning pods. 3, I guess, surplus cloning pods, and there are 4. So he has to make an impossible choice. He chooses Zoe, of course, his youngest daughter, and then erases her memory from the neural maps of the other family members. And then there's a thing where he goes around the house, collects all these pictures of them together and all sorts of stuff like that. Whittle starts the 17-day cycle required to create clones and tells him the only thing that he has to solve for is the problem of integrating neural maps into clone bodies. This is the only thing that they haven't figured out. He's got 17 days to do that. So, integrating the mind into a biological clone was phase 2, right? They haven't even got it into the android yet. So Foster is forced to keep this a secret because no one at Bio9, this is not approved. This is not, we're not at human testing yet. That's not a thing. So he and Whittle have stolen millions of dollars of goo and stuff from Bio9, and they're breaking all these bioethical codes and stuff like that. It's great. He spends the remaining 17 days removing evidence of Zoe's existence, creating cover stories of illness to explain his family's absence from work and school and social media and stuff like that. Basically has 600 Apple devices in front of him, and he's navigating all this stuff. That would have been the hardest part, I think, probably. When Foster notices his wife's central nervous system reacts to his touch, he realizes that Subject 345 failed because the mind expects connection to a biological body with a heartbeat and respiration rather than a synthetic one. He knows now that to transfer into a clone, this will not be a problem, and the failure of the android transfer can be solved by programming a simulated mind-body interface, which they refer to as the algorithm. He successfully transfers the minds of his loved ones into the clone bodies, goes back to work creating a synthetic mind-body interface. Everything's going great. When the next dead body he receives has suffered too much brain damage to be viable, this is back at work, Foster resorts to recording his own mind for the android transfer. This was a very disturbing scene for me with the needle in the eye, in his own eye. I don't like when scientists do this. It freaks me out. Meanwhile, Sophie has a nightmare of her mother's death, right? She's like, she died. We saw it happen. And then Mona catches Foster erasing the memory of this dream, essentially, or I guess some residual sense memory. He confesses that they died in a car crash and that he resurrected them. And she takes this news better than anybody on Earth would. Easily. The family discovers evidence of Zoe's existence that he missed. I believe it was like a little name scrawled in a closet, and the fact that this was a bunk bed, all these little things that he couldn't account for. And he admits that he couldn't save Zoe, and he erased their memories of her. Again, they take this pretty well. Jones confronts Foster and reveals he is aware of what Foster and Whittle have done. He tells them the research is not actually intended for medical purposes, but is being financed by the U.S. government to provide a military weapon. Foster's family are loose ends, and we need to get rid of them. This was all means to an end. Foster destroys the mind-body interface. He incapacitates Jones. He gets the drop on him, and then he flees, attempts to escape by boat, which we learned it's just the worst name ever for this boat. Jones's henchmen eventually capture Foster's family. He pursues them to Bio-9, where it is clear that Whittle sold them all out. Jones kills Whittle very unceremoniously, forces Foster to finish Subject 345. Foster, of course, as Whitney said, best part of the film, perhaps, uploads his own mind into the robot. So now we have Keanu and Keanu-Bot. Keanu-Bot kills the henchman, mortally wounds Jones. So we have the upper hand now. The two Fosters make a deal with Jones. He can live in a cloned body and become rich by working with Foster 345. I didn't know that's what we were calling him, but okay. Selling clone transfers to wealthy people looking for second life. Meanwhile, Foster is able to retire in peace with his family, including the newly cloned Zoe. That's it. Does that all check out? That makes sense?
Sure.
It doesn't, but that's fine.
Right. Yeah. You know what? You all have changed my... If I go into this movie and I'm like, I'm not really expecting too much, I think maybe if this was on, I might...
Yeah, if you don't expect a movie when you watch this movie.
Sometimes, that might be the case. It might just be like a turn off your brain and just... if I had to put them... So for instance, we just also had Siberia. This movie might be above Siberia for me. I don't know. We're almost there. I'm thinking about it. But first we have the question, like we always ask. I'm going to start with Asia on this one. Asia, I think I know the answer also, but do you ultimately recommend this film? Like if someone's like, hey, Asia, Replicas. What are we thinking?
Who am I recommending it to? Am I recommending it to people who like movies?
Yeah, you have to. There's a couple assumptions that have to be made, right? This would definitely be someone you consider a friend or a family member. So keep that in mind, right? Are you, maybe they're a fan of Keanu. What do you got?
I would not recommend this movie to Keanu Reeves fans.
Uh-huh.
I would recommend it to people who like to consume certain films while maybe drunk or stoned, or with friends who like yelling at movies. Because you definitely do a lot. If you're so invested, you can do a lot of yelling at this movie.
Yeah.
So I would say it's like a 50-50, and generally, like as a human being as a human being who recognizes that most human beings want movies to be good, I would not recommend this movie. As a critic, I would not recommend this movie, but as an ironic lover of terrible sci-fi movies, all the way, 100%.
So that's a very nuanced recommend, but I think ultimately I'm going to put you down as a recommend with maybe like an asterisk there or something.
This is going to be like when I get inducted into the Academy of One Day for Criticism, they're going to look back at this moment.
They're going to be like, wait a minute.
We can't let them in.
Perfect. Okay. Whitney, I'm curious. What are you thinking about this one?
I do not recommend this film.
Okay.
I did enjoy it personally more than I thought. I thought it was going to be like unbearable, and it was bearable. And at times I laughed out loud, and at times I yelled. As Asia said, there's definitely parts of this movie you can yell at. But overall, and there were parts where I was totally bored and tuned out. But it's, I think, better than I anticipated, but definitely not good enough to recommend to most people.
Okay. I don't think that I'm going to recommend this movie, but it is one of those situations where I look back on the other things we didn't recommend, and I would say more than those. If that makes any sense, right?
It's definitely top of the list of the not recommends. If you have to watch a movie that I don't recommend, this is by far earlier in your watching than, Generation for example.
Right. Of course. So, take that for what it's worth, everybody. It's a no, but it's not not capital N-O. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations. So, okay. All right. We got Asia. Asia's on the board. That's with an asterisk, but still on the board. All right. Now we get to a very interesting part here. I'm going to start with Whitney on this one. Where does this fit into your current Keanu ranking?
I have put it at number 40.
That's pretty low.
Yeah, below Thumbsucker, but above Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Interesting. Wow, so this edged out Bogus Journey.
Yes, I would rather watch this again than Bonus Journey. 100%.
Okay.
I got so mad about Bogus Journey.
I hope they turn it around for us.
I think they will.
It seems pretty good.
It's gonna be charming. Even if it's bad, it'll be charming.
Okay. I'm lower than you for this one, but like I said, above Siberia still. I'm going to be at 48 for this film in terms of my ranking. Now, Asia, it's been a minute since you've been here. I currently have your list as such, and I took some liberties here. I hope you don't mind. Your list is 6 total. My Own Private Idaho, John Wick, The Lake House, Constantine, Much Ado About Nothing, and just because it was at the bottom of both Whitney and my list, I went ahead and put Knock Knock at the bottom of yours as well. Just assuming, just going out on a limb.
Well, I was gonna.
If I'm wrong, I'll be shocked.
You're not wrong. That's totally fine. I would say this is better than Knock Knock. I was wondering if I was trying to figure out how I did this because I wasn't sure if because I did The Watcher and I was like, did I rank The Watcher? I couldn't remember if I actually ranked it or not. But I would actually say I enjoyed watching this movie more than I enjoy watching The Watcher, just in general. So
interesting.
I don't know where that puts me on the grand total of.
So we could put Knock Knock way down here.
So
at 16,
if I had
just
a list that was like 62 and Knock Knock was at the very bottom, where is The Watcher?
Perfect.
The Watcher's at like 37 on your list.
Perfect. Yeah.
The Watcher is
that
like
feels
47 on Andrew's list. So maybe I should rank it down. And you have Replicas below that. I think maybe I'd swap those. Because I probably enjoyed looking at yours. You have like Hardball, Sweet November, The Watcher, and Replicas. I would say I probably enjoyed watching Replicas more than The Watcher, but I don't even remember if I liked Sweet November. I know that I've seen it, but so it's in there somewhere in my memory banks, and you could just like wedge it in there.
Perfect. Okay, so around the 47, in the mid to high 40s for you. Okay,
Right.
Perfect. All right. It's been noted. You know what? We'll get this all sorted out. We'll have Asia's canonical list shortly. We'll work through this, but that's good. So we're all kind of on the same page. This movie is middling to not so middling.
Honestly, my scale for what is bad has been so dramatically altered by this podcast, this experiment in film, that I really don't know what is bad anymore when it's not Generation Ellie Parker, Knock Knock. Everything is better than that. So
yeah, it is interesting, the drop off for the lists, and Whitney, correct me if I'm wrong, but like basically once you get past let's just call it 20, right? Mm-hmm. All bets are off for these films, really. And once you get down to the bottom 10, it is. We're going
dire.
for all-time worst films. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. But yeah,
yes, we are.
47 is the 45 is they're fine. That's great. All right, I like it. A couple one recommend. We got some pretty middling rankings here. This is great. Let's talk next week, okay? Whitney. Whitney, you have the honor and the privilege, the privilege
yes,
to walk us through John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Knife fight.
Right. We've all seen this, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's really much to say. I think everyone is hype for this film, I think.
Absolutely.
It's I can't spoil my thoughts for next week.
Yeah,
Suffice to
don't
say,
get into it now.
I've already watched it. Like, sometimes these movies, they're like homework where it's like, oh, I guess I'll sit down and take 2 hours out of my day. It's like when it comes to John Wick films, I'm like, yes, let's do it early. So I can't be a procrastinator with John Wick films. That's great. That's great. That's it.
Yeah.
Team, we did it. This is very exciting.
Congratulations.
As always, we did it again. Asia, you did it again with us. It's so exciting.
Asia.
I love it. People have been asking for you to come back, believe it or not. I mean, it's really, really, truly, we get emails where like, we miss Asia.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, thank you guys.
So, yes, it's truly, I was like, we gotta make this work because we only have so many left. We gotta have Asia back. So it's great. It's great. So you have been so busy. I see you all over the Twitters and I'm reading your articles. Do you want to tell people where they could find you?
Of course, of course.
Out there on the internet?
Yes. So my my brain just went blank. I've been I've been working so much during the pandemic. I've just been working nonstop. So like you just witnessed, all of you who are like listening live, just like witnessed all of my brain cells just sort of float away for a second. And I forgot where I worked. I forgot my own name. I forgot everything. So I work at Vox. I am apparently a culture reporter for Vox and a culture writer. So you can find me there at vox.com. And you can also find me on Twitter at Aja Romano. That's AJAROMANO. And don't listen to Andrew. I actually don't tweet that much. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, just visit her on Twitter.
I mean,
listen, I follow the threads.
I was tweeting last night about BTS because that's like an event, Andrew.
I understand. Look, here's the deal, right? It's not. Here's what it is. I rely on you because that is not within the purview of the people necessarily that I follow. So I'm reading. I'm like, oh, now they have this song that is in English, and now they will be able to crack Billboard. And I'm like, this is interesting. This is like quite a tactic because I know a lot of people that are fans, and I enjoy the perspective. So very cool. Look,
I love the idea of living in a world where you don't know for months in advance that BTS has a single that's coming out on August 21st. Like, what does that be like?
Ignorance is bliss. I don't know what to tell you. I guess. Yeah, I appreciate. I certainly appreciate your writing and all that stuff. So again, and your insights on everything here. It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Follow Asia. Come on. Super easy. Just click follow. Do it. You won't regret it. Whitney, what do you got going on this week?
Nothing.
Where are
I have retreated into my pandemic cocoon to the point where
That's
if you're
fine.
not in one of my closed ship posting groups on Facebook, you don't really see any activity from me at all. But you can follow me on Twitter at Whitney_Nelson, NELSEN, where I will retweet some stuff when I occasionally do crawl out of my pandemic shell. And Whitney Nelson on Twitter, Instagram, with no _ if you want to see a lot of pictures of my dog, because I am posting. That's the only thing that I'm doing other than shit posting on Facebook is taking pictures of my dog.
He's a good boy. I'll say it every time.
I would die for that dog.
Right.
It's a great dog.
I have never felt this way about anyone or anything the way I feel about this dog. So it's kind of a revelation.
Does Jamie listen to this podcast by any chance?
He does, but he gets it.
Oh, I understand. Okay. All right. Perfect. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dark Driving. I have a weirdly cool thing to plug that I didn't even really know about, but I found out about yesterday. An indie horror film that I worked on, I did all the drone and aerial shots for, is in iTunes and all other major streaming platforms today for you to check out. It's pretty cool. It's called The Honeymoon Phase. It's kind of a cool story. I dig it. I was like, okay, I sign on for this. It's tracking at like number 51, 52 on iTunes right now. And to put that in perspective, Midsummer is at like 43. So not too shabby.
Nice.
Check it out. It opens with one of my shots, which is great. I love it. We do a lot of glamour shots of Philadelphia and surrounding areas. So, yeah, give them some love. My good buddy Phil directed and put 3 years of his life into it. So, if you like indie horror flicks, go in with your expectations tempered about budget and things like that. It's a good sit. It's a good sit.
Awesome.
That's all I got. So I'm going to. Thank you.
Good promotion.
I'm generally pretty bad at this stuff, but it was I was like pleasantly surprised. I'm on the IMDb and stuff. It's wild. It's like you never expect that kind of stuff. So, okay, I'm gonna press the button that does the theme song here. Oh my goodness, I love it. And I'm going to say thank you all for joining us, Whitney, Asia, viewers. And in the words of Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.